Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatha Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Sya Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyanajana Shalakaya Chakshuramilitam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namah Gorva Bhishtam Supurakam Guraganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindabhidam Ujwalam Varatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyad Bhagavat Premna Vibhija Pranam Devam Divyatanam Suchandavaranam Balarka Shailanshitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Banditam Shubharam Madeka Sharanam Nyashishwara Shridharam Vanshakopatarubyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema-prayojana Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratabhishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Madhya-lila 23, Life's Ultimate Goal. And this is text number 102. Yes. So this chapter is Life's Ultimate Goal, Love of God. It concerns prayojana tattva. Prayojana, Krishna Prema-prayojona. Love of Godhead is the goal of life. Purve prayage amira sera bichare tomarabai rupe koilun shakti sanchare. Previously, I've empowered your brother, Srila Rupa Goswami, to understand these mellows. I did this while instructing him at the Dashavameda Ghat in Prayag. Tumiya Korea Bhakti Shastrara Prachar Maturaya Lupta Tirter Koriha Udar Tumiya Koriha Bhakti Shastrara Prachar Maturai Lupta Tirter Koriha Udar. O Sanatan, you should broadcast the revealed scriptures on devotional service and O Sanatan, you should broadcast the revealed scriptures on devotional service and excavate the lost places of pilgrimage in the district of Mathura. Vrindavane Krishna Seva Vaishnava Char Bhakti Smriti Shastra Koriya Prachar. Establish devotional service to Lord Krishna and Radharani in Vrindavan. You should also compile Bhakti scriptures and preach the Bhakti cult from Vrindavan. Sanatan Goswami was enjoined 1. To broadcast the revealed scriptures on devotional service and establish the conclusions of devotional service. 2. To re-establish lost places of pilgrimage like Vrindavan and Radhakund. 3. To establish the Vrindavan method of temple worship and install deities in temples. Sri Sanatan Goswami established the Madan Mohan temple, and Rupa Goswami established the Govindaji temple. And 4. To enunciate the behavior of a Vaishnava, as Srila Sanatan Goswami did in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. In this way, Sanatan Goswami was empowered to establish a cult of Vaishnavism as stated by Srinivasacharya in the Sad Goswami Ashtaka. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipano Saddharma Samstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mataliko Bande Rupa Sanatano Raghuya Go Sri Jiva Gopalako I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of, because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipano Saddharma Samstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Pararavinda Bhajana Nandena Mataliko Bande Rupa Sanatano Raghujago Sri Jiva Gopalako. Thus, this Krishna conscious movement continues the traditions of the six Goswamis, especially Srila Sanatan Goswami and Srila Rupa Goswami. Serious students of this Krishna consciousness movement must understand their great responsibility to preach the cult of Vrindavan, devotional service to the Lord all over the world. We now have a nice temple in Vrindavan, and serious students should take advantage of it. I'm very hopeful that some of our students can take up this responsibility and render the best service to humanity by educating people in Krishna consciousness. Jukta Vairagya Stiti Sabashikala Shushka Vairagya Jnana Sab Nishedila. So there we hear the term Yukta Vairagya, very important. Real renunciation means to not enjoy anything on a personal level, but to be able to utilize everything in the service of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told Sanatan Goswami about proper renunciation according to a particular situation, and the Lord forbade dry renunciation and speculative knowledge in all respects. This is the technique for understanding Shushka Vairagya and Yukta Vairagya. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Yukta Hara Viharasya, Yukta Cheshtasya Karmasu, Yukta Swapna Vabodhasya Jogo Bhavati Dukkaha. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. To broadcast the cult of Krishna consciousness, one has to learn the possibility of renunciation in terms of country, time, and candidate. A candidate for Krishna consciousness in the Western countries should be taught about the renunciation of material existence, but one would teach candidates from a country like India in a different way. A teacher, Acharya, has to consider time, candidate, and country. He must avoid the principle of niyamagraha. That is, he should not try to perform the impossible. What is possible in one country may not be possible in another. The Acharya's duty is to accept the essence of devotional service. There may be a little change here and there as far as Yukta Vairagya, proper renunciation, is concerned. Dry renunciation is forbidden by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we have also learned this from our spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami. Dry renunciation is forbidden by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we have also learned this from our spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj. The essence of devotional service must be taken into consideration and not the outward paraphernalia. So that especially we see in China. China was very difficult to preach in China, but Yudamanyu Seva Vikram, he followed Govinda Maharaj's advice of not trying to force the Chinese devotees to follow every single principle which we would normally follow in the West, because their country will not really adapt to Krishna consciousness if one is if things are forced upon them. They have their own culture, which is a long-standing culture. They have their own language, and they have their own habits. And Srila Govinda Maharaj cautioned about trying to force them to follow everything according to the letter of the law. So, and when I was also in Hong Kong, I saw that they weren't able to, because their background with monks and everything, they were not always able to relate with persons dressed as monks. But Udamanyu, he went there as a teacher. He went there as a teacher of English, and they used to refer to him as Mr. John, some in the school, but those who were his students who knew him well were allowed to call him Udamanyu, or Yuda. And he was able to establish Krishna consciousness there on, I would say, on a big scale, a difficult area to preach because they're not immediately willing to take every single rule and regulation of Krishna consciousness, but according to their own culture and the affection presented to them, they took to Krishna consciousness very nicely. And now when they go, for instance, to India or other places, they show great enthusiasm in participating. Sanatan Goswami wrote his Vaishnava Smriti, Hari Bhakti Vilas, which was specifically meant for India. In those days, India was more or less following the principles of Smartavidi. Srila Sanatan Goswami had to keep pace with this, and his Hari Bhakti Vilas was compiled with this in mind. According to Smarta Brahmins, a person not born in a Brahmin family could not be elevated to the position of a Brahmin. Sanatan Goswami, however, says in the Hari Bhakti Vilas that anyone can be elevated to the position of a Brahmin by the process of initiation. Yata kanshanatam yati kamsham rasa vidanata tata diksha vidanena dvijatvam jayate nrinam. As bell metal is turned to gold when mixed with mercury in an alchemical process, so one who is properly trained and initiated by a bona fide spiritual master immediately becomes a Brahmin. There is a difference between the Smarta process and the Goswami process. According to the Smarta process, one cannot be accepted as a Brahmin unless one is born in a Brahmin family. According to the Goswami process, the Hari Bhakti Vilas, and the Narada Pancharatra, anyone can be a Brahmin if he is properly initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. This is also the verdict of Sukadeva Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam. Kirita Hunandra Pulinda Pukasha Abhira Shamba Yavana Kasadaya Yenye Chapapa Yad Apashrayashraya Shujanti Tasmai Prabha Vaishnave Nama. Kirita Hunandra Pulinda Pukasha Abhira Shumba Yavana Kasadaya Yenye Chapapa Yad Apashrayashraya Shudyanti Tasmai Prabha Vishnave Nama. Kiratas, Hunas, Andras, Pulindas, Pukashas, Abhiras, Shumbas, Yavanas, and members of the Kasa race, and even others who are addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord, due to his being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. A Vaishnava is immediately purified, provided he follows the rules and regulations of his bona fide spiritual master. It is not necessary that the rules and regulations followed in India be exactly the same as those in Europe, America, and other Western countries. Simply imitating without effect is called niyamagraha. Not following the regulated principles, but instead living extravagantly is called niyamagraha. The words niyama means regulated principles, and agraha means eagerness. The word agraha means not to accept. We should not follow regulative principles without an effect, nor should we fail to accept the regulative principles. What is required is a special technique according to country, time, and candidate. Without the sanction of the spiritual master, we should not try to imitate. The principle is recommended here. Shushka Vairagya Gyans Sab Nishedila. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's liberal demonstration of the Bhakti cult. We should not introduce anything whimsically without the sanction of the bona fide spiritual master. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments on these points by quoting two verses by Sri Rupa Goswami. Anasaktasya vishayan yatartam upayunjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchate prapanchikataya budya hari sambandhi vastuna mumukshubi parityago vairagyam falgu katyate. When one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of its relationship to Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. To preach the Bhakti cult, one should seriously consider these verses. So this, when one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. And that is yukta vairagya. We're not shunning the use even of technology or material assets, but they're to be utilized for spreading Krishna consciousness, not to become attached to them as one's own possessions, but rather to utilize them in the service of the Lord. Advaishta sarvabhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara samaduka sukashami santushta sadatam yogi yatatma dhridanishchaya mayarpita manobhudir yomad bhakta samepriya. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor, and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is always satisfied, forgiving and self-controlled, and who is engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence dedicated to me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Yasman nodvijate loko lokan nodvijate tuya harshamarsha mayodvegar muktoya sachame priya. He by whom no one is put into difficulty or anxiety, and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is liberated from jubilation, anger, fear, and anxiety, is very, very dear to me. Anapeksha suchir daksha udasino gatavyata sarvaramba parityagi yome bhakta same priya. A devotee who is not dependent on others, but is dependent solely on me, who is clean inwardly and outwardly, who is expert, indifferent to material things, without cares and free from all pains, and who rejects all pious and impious activities, is very dear to me. The word anupeksha means that one should not be concerned with mundane people and should not depend upon them. One should depend solely on the Supreme Personality of God and be free from material desires. One should also be clean within and without. To be outwardly clean, one should regularly bathe with soap and oil, and to be inwardly clean, one should always be absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. The words Sarva Ramba Parityagi indicate that one should not be interested in the so-called smarta vidhi or pious and impious activities. Yona rishyati na dveshti na shochati na kankshati shubha shubha parityagi bhaktiman yasame priya. One who is free of all material jubilation, hatred, lamentation, and desire, who renounces both materially auspicious and materially inauspicious things, and who is devoted to me is very dear to me. So we're not attached to considering what's auspicious and what's inauspicious. And you can understand, some persons are very concerned, for instance, about getting some proper, so-called proper orientation. They go to a Jyotish and they want to know what they should do according to their horoscope, etc. But I would never want to do that, because he may say something is inauspicious, which is necessary for the preaching of Krishna consciousness, and one doesn't want to have that burden in one's mind. So rather than consult with anything on that mundane level, then I will take the instructions from my spiritual master. Now, we have seen in the case of our spiritual masters, sometimes they're reading panchakas and stuff like that, but that is according to their own understanding of circumstance. Samashastro cha mitre cha tatam mana pamanayo shitoshna sukadukeshu samas sangha vivarjita tuya ninda stutir moni santushto yena kenachit aniketa stiramatir bhaktiman me priyonara. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from attachment to material things, and always grave and satisfied in all circumstances, who doesn't care for any residence, and who is always fixed in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. Yetu dharmamritam idam yatoktam paripasate Shradadhanad mat parama bhaktaste tiva me priya. Devotees who follow these imperishable religious principles of Krishna consciousness with great faith and devotion, fully accepting me as the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Chitrani kim batina santi tishanti bhiksham naivangri pa Parabrita saritopi ashushan ruda guha kim ajito vati no pasanan kasmad bhajanti kavayo dana durmadandan. Are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms and charity? Do the rivers, being dried up, no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the unconquerable Supreme Lord not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then should learned persons like devotees go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth? This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam. In this verse, Sukadeva Goswami advises Maharaj Parikshit that a devotee should be independent in all circumstances. The body can be maintained with no problem if one follows the instructions given in this verse. To maintain the body, we require shelter, food, water, and clothing. And all these necessities can be obtained without approaching puffed-up rich men. One can collect old garments that have been thrown out. One can eat fruits offered by the trees. One can drink water from the rivers. One can live within the caves of mountains. By nature's arrangement, shelter, clothing, and food are supplied to the devotee who is completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee does not need a puffed-up materialistic person to maintain him. In other words, devotional service can be discharged in any condition. This is the version of Srimad Bhagavatam. Savai pumsam parodharmo yato bhaktirad hoksaje ahaitukiya pradhyata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be motivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. This verse explains that devotional service can be checked by any material condition. So the idea is we're not dependent on begging favors from anyone. One can maintain oneself with a little endeavor. One can obtain any of the necessities of life, whether it's water, food, clothing, and it's not necessary to dedicate oneself or give oneself to complete, just working like a materialistic person all the time. One can get the necessities of life with that. Here the verse is very simple. Of course, someone could say, well, we can no longer drink from the rivers. Yes, but you can still get water. I mean, it's not so. Are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees, which exist for maintaining others, no longer give alms and charity? That means the trees will give, we can obtain, fruits from the trees and vegetables. Do the rivers being dried up no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the unconquerable Supreme Lord not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then should learned persons like devotees go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth? You don't need to beg favors from rich men. We can survive on our own, by our own endeavor. Tabe Sanatana Sab Siddhanta Puchila Bhagavat Siddhanta Gura Sakale Kohila. Thereafter, Sanatan Goswami inquired from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about all the conclusive statements concerning devotional service, and the Lord very, very vividly explained all the confidential meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hari Vamshe Kahiyache Goloke Nityastiti Indrasi Gorilla Jabe Sri Krishnadas Stuti. In the revealed scripture, Harivamsa, there is a description of Goloka Vrindavan, the planet where Lord Sri Krishna actually resides. This information was given by King Indra when he surrendered to Krishna and offered prayers after Krishna had raised Govardhan Hill. Moshala Lilar Krishna Antardan Kesha Vatara Ara Jata Viruda Vyakyan Mahishi Harana Adi Sab Mayamai Vyakta Sikaila Jaiche Susidanta Hoy. Illusory stories opposed to the conclusions of Krishna consciousness concern the destruction of the Yadu dynasty, Krishna's disappearance, the story that Krishna and Balaram rise from a black hair and a white hair of Kshirodakshai Vishnu, and the story about the kidnapping of the queen. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to Sanatan Goswami the proper conclusions of these stories. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj called those stories Asura Mohana Lila, that they're stories made to confuse or delude the atheist, the asuras. Then they want to come to some atheistic conclusion, and these stories are made there to just confuse them. Tabe Sanatana Prabhu Charane Doriya Nivedana Koridante Trina Gucha Loya. Sanatana Goswami then humbly accepted his position as lower than a piece of straw, and symbolically holding some straw in his mouth, he fell down, clasped the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and submitted the following petition. Nicha Jati Nicha Sevi Mui Supamar Siddhanta Shakaila Jay Brahmara Agochar. Sanatana Goswami said, my dear Lord, I am a very low-born person. Indeed, I am a servant to low-born people. Therefore, I am very, very downtrodden. Nonetheless, you have taught me conclusions unknown even to Lord Brahma. Tumi Jay Kohila E Siddhantam Rita Sindhu Moraman Shunite Nari Ihara Ek Bindu. The conclusions that you have told me are the ocean of the ambrosia of truth. My mind is unable to approach even a drop of that ocean. Panguna Chaite Jari Hoy Tomaraman Baradeho Mora Mate Doria Charan. If you want to make a lame man like me dance, kindly bestow your transcendental blessings by placing your lotus feet on my head. Muije Shikalun Tore Svuruka Saka Etomara Bara Hoite Habe Morabo. Now, will you please tell me, let whatever I have instructed all be fully manifested unto you. By blessing me in this way, you will give me strength to describe all this. Tabi Mahaprabhu Tara Shire Dori Kore Madhya-lila Esab Swaruka Tomare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then placed his hand on Sanatan Goswami's head and blessed him, saying, let all these instructions be manifested to you. Sankepi kohilon Prema-prayojona sambandha Bistari kahana jai prabhura prasad. Thus I have briefly described the discussion of the ultimate goal of life, love of Godhead. The mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot be described expansively. Prabhura upadeshamrita shuni jajan achirat milayetare Krishna premadan. Whoever hears these instructions given to Sanatan Goswami by the Lord comes very soon to realize love of God, Krishna. Shri Rupa Raghunath Parijana As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila, 23rd chapter, describing love of Godhead. Okay. So now, sing Hari Harai. Yesterday we observed Sri Advaitacharya's divine appearance, and this coming Friday we will celebrate Sri Nityananda Prabhu's divine appearance. So now there's coming up so many nice Vaishnava holidays leading up to Gaur Purnima. Hare Nama Krishna Janardan Nama Jaravaya Maravaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Maranaman Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Garanana Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta Rupa Sanatan Goswami Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Nitai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Yao ite vignana shamista puran Echai gosai jar mui taradan janame janame more abhilash. Jai Gosai Jabe Bhaje Koilabas. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Guru Vaishnava Pade Manjai Haman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhara Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Sharyasta Tara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charya Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Sananda Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsiko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudhi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagwat Ki Jai.